morning, and thank you very much for joining us as always. I am Yori Folani, and I'll be telling you who's with me later on. Can't do so at the moment, but I have a feeling I won't be alone. At the moment, I'm just about all you got. So, jokes apart, today we thought we'd look at Kaduna State's addressing of the Almajirai situation. Now, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, he's taken a different approach, if you want to look at it like that. You might have seen in the news that Kaduna State is actually to jail parents who enroll schools in Almajiri. That's the lead headline of The Nation this morning. So that gives you, an indication of, one, the scope of the problem. Suddenly, Almajirai from all over the north are being deported. No, shall we say, can't deport within the same country, but, are being evacuated back to their states of origin. Kaduna State has been receiving its share, but, Governor Nasir El-Rufai has made a pledge that he's going to get on top of the problem and that they're going to rehabilitate them. Almajirai generally, they're Nigerians too, they have their full rights. Among the things that Governor El-Rufai has said is that in Kaduna State, the aspect is going to be one, holding parents accountable. You can't just, give birth to people and then send them off to Quranic schools, so-called, because that's the intention, to send them off to Quranic schools. But oftentimes they just, that was the good intention, but they end up with bowls on the streets, becoming beggars. There's hardly any Quranic education in that. So Governor Nasir El-Rufai has said that their focus in Kaduna State is going to be towards indeed giving these Almajirai formal education without depriving them of their right to Quranic education, but there will be no compromise. They will have formal education, such as everybody else in the country has, in addition to the Quranic education that might be the choice of their parents. So, but it's not easy. There's a situation where they are also part of this whole pandemic, this whole coronavirus, COVID-19 situation, and its transmission. So many of them, actually, according to the governor, were actually infected, and lest they become carriers, they've been doing work in there. We'll get to the details. They've been doing work in Kaduna, and quite a number of them have been cleared of COVID-19. But let's start off. Our man in Kaduna State is Tese Makende, and he put a report together. In fact, good morning, Tese.
Yeah, good morning from Kaduna.
Thank you very much for taking time off your schedule to be with us. First of all, before I come back to you, let's take your report, because you produced a report that'll give us an overview. So stay with us, please.
These 213 Almajiri children have been here for over 3 weeks undergoing checks. And they have now been given a clean bill of health certified free of the coronavirus.
We received 213 of them, but all in total 218 plus their malams. But what Kaduna State government normally do is to quarantine them, test them, and ensure that they are COVID-19 free.
We've been to all 6 geopolitical zones, and for the last 7 years in Kaduna State, we carry out an outreach program at the Sultan Bello Mosque.
The children were brought in from Nasarawa State. The last test they will undergo is for their eyes before they are reunited with their parents across local government areas in the state.
We'll continue on this until we clear Kaduna State of this menace of Almajiri system of child abuse. I will not even call it child education, because it's not education, it's the abuse of the future and privilege of a child.
The government is sounding a note of warning to those who have over the years encouraged the Almajiri system. The governor says the full weight of the law will be visited on such people going forward.
Any parent that does that would be prosecuted and could go to prison for as many as 2 years. Any Almajiri teacher that takes any child or enrolls any child into so-called Almajiri school will also go to prison and be fined, I think, 100,000 naira or 200,000 naira per child.
This type of situation whereby children, rather than being educated, are just begging across the streets is not, of course, a situation that can be accepted for children.
The children seem to be in good spirits, but uncertain about the future. They are assured all will be well with them. Many of these children before now had no shoes, but they now do. They are set to be reunited with their families and given free education for 12 years. And those caught again on the streets begging will have their parents or guardians prosecuted. Tessem Akende, TVC News, Kaduna.
Well, indeed, and our thanks to Tessem, who is on Skype with us at the moment. But let me quickly say that we also have our friend Abdulaziz, a friend of the house, Abdulaziz Hassan Sani. He's on the phone. He's a communications professional and opinion molder, as he likes it to be said. Good morning, Abdulaziz.
Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you very much for coming on, sir. First of all, you just saw, hopefully, did you see Tessem's report?
Did I?
See Tessem Akende's report on the Kaduna situation?
Yes.
Oh, okay. First of all, give me your impressions, because it's I would say it's a bit of a novel approach. What the governor is doing. It's not that there haven't been attempts in the past, going back to President Jonathan's days, to actually set up, different kind of school systems. But this one, where the governor says that now parents will be directly held liable and could indeed suffer consequences if they let their children go.
Mr. Yori, what you are seeing here, there's no two ways of saying the truth. And there's no two ways of solving a problem. Now I'm seeing a real commitment on the part of the northern state governors to get rid of Almajiri's school system in northern Nigeria. And the whole issue is about this. There's nothing wrong with Almajiri school from the beginning. But later, abuse came to play a prominent part in Almajiri school. It was even a pride for you to be in Almajiri school. I could remember in the 70s, late 60s, it's a pride when you ask a parent in a market, where is your son? He will tell you his son is in the northeast. That is Gabar. Yena Gabar. Gabar means northeast, where you obtain Islamic education. But the problem now is this. We begin to see this kind of problem when Metasine first of all came in 1982. And he found a ready-made army in Almajiris. And number two is about care. We all attended Almajiri school. Anybody that is above 50 and that was born in northern Nigeria attended Almajiri school. The only difference is that we attended Almajiri school from our comfort zones, from our homes. Then we go back to our home, then we get prepared to go to Western educational school. The whole abuse began to set in when Metasine came in. And some of the Malams subscribed to the ideology of Metasine. They now gave out their students as a ready-made army to fight the senseless cause of Metasine.
Alhaji Sani, could I interrupt you there, please? I've got to go off on a break, and I'm going to come straight back so you can continue. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. And we had to go away there because of the break. Well, actually, my ear has come alive. Maybe they'll just switch it down so that I can hear myself. It's come alive. There was a problem on it before. But people speaking into my head now can't really hear what I'm trying to say. So sorry. So here we are, and we were speaking with Haji Abdul Aziz Hassan Sani on the phone, and we still have Alma and Tessem Akande. Thank you for staying there, Tessem. We'll be with you, just getting, as it were, some background from Hassan Sani. And you were saying, among other things, that just about every person in the north, if he's a Muslim, that is over 50, it's most likely that they would have attended Almajiri schools. But as you explained, you, for instance, said in your case, and in the case of many others, would also attend Western education schools. So there was a combination. And when you said that, it occurred to me that in the South here, we have something similar where there are children, Muslim children, whose parents want to send them to Quranic schools. They go to Quranic schools, but it does not inhibit or interfere with the Western education schools that they also go to after a certain time.
Yeah, Mr. Yori, let me clarify to you here.
Sure.
In northern Nigeria, whoever is above 50 years of age,
we need the phone.
Either covertly or overtly attended Almajiri school. I'm saying it
yes,
with full force. The only difference here is that we attended Quranic school or Almajiri school from our parents' comfort zone. We attended it in the evenings. In the morning, we go to Western educational school. And some, their own are permanent. So, when the problem began, when there's this issue of care, when you leave your children in the hands of a malam, and the malam decided to take care of himself, rather than taking care of the child at a formative stage, that is when you begin to experience problems.
Okay. And the word malam, I understand, really originally derived means teacher.
Teacher.
Indeed. Okay.
So, in most cases, you see, so because our parents subscribe to Western educational school, at the same time they subscribe to Islamic education. There's no problem with that. But there are some that subscribe to only Islamic education.
And this is where the rights, of the children began to be interfered with, which is what Governor, El Rufai has said that he's going to address squarely in Kaduna State.
Yes.
Squarely.
And the right began to interfere with via breach of trust. When a parent put his children in trust with you and you fail in doing so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is where the problem started.
By the way, the Almajiri school system, just very briefly, when you send, when back in the days they would send children to the Almajiri system with the malams as teachers there, were they paying for them or was it the other way around?
We pay token.
Okay.
Our parents pay token. We are many. You know, the way you don't understand because you don't know the North very well. The school is not only in a place, it's all over the places. So what you see, the students are all over, and that token is enough to take care of the malam.
That the parents pay.
And that time, people are contented.
Okay.
People are not materialistic the way we are now.
But now that a lot of those kids have become beggars with begging bowls, is that money for their sustenance or is it for handing back to their malams?
The issue is this. in most cases, they don't give money back to the malams. Only on market days, some Almajiris, on market days, they go and carry loads.
Okay.
Then they come and give malams some money. Because
They become porters. They become local market porters. That's what you mean by carrying loads. Is that what you mean by carrying loads? Become market porters.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Then you give some token to the malam when you come back. And we parents that don't go to carry loads, our parents will give us money to give to malam.
I see. Okay, thank you very much, Alhaji Abdulaziz. Please stay with us because it's about the exploitation of minors. That's another way that maybe that's not the way it is seen over there. But again, with a global concept, people will say there's an exploitation aspect going on. Tessem, this is something that Governor El Rufai was emphasizing, right, when he was saying that these kids have their rights, and they were going to be restoring their rights. They're entitled to 12 years of education, by which he meant formal education, as far as Kaduna State is concerned, and perhaps this will be spreading all over the place.
Yes, we were together. Yesterday, I was just there to do my report, and I was a bit taken aback when he arrived personally. But talking about these children, the governor believes the entire system, the Almajiri system, has been what he described yesterday as abuse of the rights of children. And he says, as far as he is the governor, that will not continue anymore. Recall that year in, year out, we've had conferences of northern elites, of traditional rulers, of Islamic scholars gathering, converging here on Kaduna to discuss the Almajiri system. But we've not really had headway to this. So he is appearing to be taking the bull by the horn. And as far as he's concerned, this is the end of that system in Kaduna State.
Because they've now drawn up legislation, which I would imagine was non-existent before. Now they've actually drawn up legislation, so the parameters are in black and white, and parents or guardians could possibly find themselves liable to fines or jail time if they don't comply.
Yes. Yes.
We're sending their kids to free and compulsory Western education in Kaduna State.
Yes. Interestingly, beyond the parents, because I asked him personally, I said, Your Excellency, look, before these children came to these, places, they had parents. So they're going back to their parents. What would change? What would be different? He said, look, beyond their parents, those who take custody of them, talking about the malams now, if they dare do that or try to encourage that, they would also have themselves to blame. And it would be about 100 or 200,000 per child. So it is not business. It will not be business as usual. He displayed some level of seriousness. And like you said, it will be in black and white soon. So anybody that tries or dares to try the weight of the law with El Rufai as governor here in Kaduna, he's waiting for such people.
Is Kaduna the only state, to your knowledge, that is going in this direction, or are there other states that got in there before Kaduna State and Governor El Rufai, or is he like a trailblazer in this regard?
To the best of my knowledge, he's blazing the trail. Look, last year, most of the stories we had here, some of the biggest stories we had were about houses of torture. And we had children of 5 years and 7 and within that range in these places. This was disheartening, seeing, especially myself as a journalist, going to see things firsthand. These are stories that the governor would not want us to tell again, especially coming from Kaduna, which has been for years Northern Nigeria's political capital.
And when you said you met up with him yesterday, was that, as newspapers have reported, that the government college, Kurumin Mashi?
Yes, it was at Government College Kurumin Mashi. I've been trying to follow up on the Almajiri story, and yesterday I heard, of course, they've been there for about 3 weeks, undergoing rehabilitation, undergoing several checks. He was there physically to see how they were faring. And my first question to him was, look, what's your impression of what you've seen today compared with when the children were actually brought from Nasarawa, from Gombe, from Kano, as elsewhere? And what he would tell me is, look, there's been so much improvement. And in few days, maybe from today or tomorrow, the reunification of these children with their parents and families will commence in earnest.
Okay.
And yeah, there will be there's a procedure. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs will be monitoring to ensure that each of these children gets to his or her parents or guardians, as the case may be, and are enrolled into the nearest schools, within the neighborhood. It's compulsory for them to do it. It's an offense not for a parent not to enroll these children in schools. And there's a mechanism that has been put in place to monitor and follow this up to the latter. Of course, as journalists, we'll be monitoring the stories and keeping close tabs at situations.
Indeed, as the governor is reported to have said, he said that they will continue to take delivery of every Almajiri pupil indigenous to Kaduna, wherever he is sent from, that they will be receiving them and be looking, as you've just said, to resettle them close to their parents. He said the ultimate objective here is to educate them, never mind re-educate, educate them in Western education, as well as keep their preference for Quranic education. So it's not as if they're canceling out the Almajiri system. It's just saying that they have rights too. They're Nigerians too. They have rights, and nobody under any kind of system should come and abuse the rights of these children who can't really speak for themselves, fight for themselves. And that's where the parents and the guardians have been dragged into the whole, if you want, palaver.
Yes, the parents now would have to take responsibility. The era of having children and being negligent, or perhaps, if you like, shying off responsibility and giving out your children to other people to cater for them, I think it's gone. And as far as the governor is concerned, it's gone, and it's gone for good. A mechanism is in place to ensure that the streets of Kaduna are devoid of these children.
Free of Almajiri. Okay,
yes,
sorry, let me just interrupt you there, because I've got to go on another break, as I also greet Abdulaziz Hassan Sani, who is on the phone. And when we come back, I'll be coming straight to you, Alhaji Abdulaziz Hassan Sani. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the way Kaduna State is addressing the Almajiri system. Sometimes you say Almajiri, sometimes you say Almajirai. I understand that Almajirai is the plural of Almajiri, maybe Almajiri being just one individual pupil, but bear with me if we sort of interchange them. Those who are Hausa speakers, of course, there is no confusion whatsoever to them. Coming back to you, Alhaji Abdulaziz Hassan Sani, communications professional, has been with us, and we thank you for it from the beginning of the program. Oftentimes the whole Almajiri system is described as children from poor backgrounds, but as you have explained, no, that might be a misconception. You said that you yourself were there, but there are different levels of Almajiri. Maybe because parents, guardians were able to, as it were, shun the responsibility, getting the kids off their hands. That was why the thing became prevalent, and that's where the poverty angle might have come from. Because any person who is not poor, so to speak, would not want their children away from them.
It's not poverty-driven. Let me repeat it again. Makarantar Allo is not poverty driven. It's a matter of pride and what people choose for themselves. I can authoritatively say it to you. There was a man I knew in the late 70s. He was an importer here in Lagos. His son was sent to Quranic school under the care of Malam, a well-known businessman. If I mention his name, a lot of people know him. It's not about poverty. I'm telling you, the disconnection here came when abuses set in by people with selfish interests.
Okay.
It's not a matter of no money, I send my children there, no. Our parents believe in Western education. They believe in Quranic education. So, while attending Quranic school, on the other hand, we are also attending Western educational school on the other hand. But some, they don't believe in Western education, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. So that's where...
And that's where the whole confusion came in. Well,
Yes.
I want to thank you very much, Abdulaziz Sani, as always, for coming in and shedding light on these areas. When you say it was a matter of it is a matter of pride.
Conviction.
Yes, I mean, talking about being of the Almajiri, being a student in that system, I understand it, because you become versed in the Quran, you're able to recite the Quran. In short, it's about scholarship in the Islam in the Quranic way. The problem was, why now ostracize Western education, which you said, you've explained, not everyone in the North did. But it is unfortunate that some did take advantage of the situation. Thank you very much for explaining it to us. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. So, Tessem, you're still with us, and we'll open the phone lines. It's interesting the way, I don't know if it's right to say that for the North, it's something of a radical approach where a governor is insisting on the rights of children. I was particularly caught by that section where Governor Nasir El-Rufai was underlining the fact that these are Nigerian children, they have rights, and among those rights is 12 years of not just free but compulsory Western education, without disadvantaging their right to Quranic education via the Almajiri system. That seems to be uppermost on maybe the revolutionary part of that for the North, is that seemed to be uppermost on the Kaduna governor's mind, so much so that he's willing to back it up by law. Tradition has been what we've been coming with. Now the man has gone and added law to the matter that you will comply. These kids have a right to 12 years at least of, free and compulsory education. And any parent that doesn't allow or send their word, he's going to be in trouble for it.
Yes, interestingly, I looked at the situation beyond just the report.
One moment, Tessem. I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but Mr. George has just called in from Ikeja. You understand the kind of show we run, Tessem, so minimal apologies to you. You understand. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in.
And thanks for bringing this subject, Uncle Yori.
Sure.
Uncle Yori, if you check, you see that of all the northern governors, there is none of them that has no Western education. And I do not know why they do not think it necessary to extend the same thing to the upcoming children. Many of them are PhD holders. And you have children that have never experienced Western education. Alhaji Hassan said something, that if you are 50 years of age and you are from the North, it is impossible that you did not undergo Almajiri education. That means they underwent Almajiri education and still went for the Western education. Why are they denying the younger ones of the same thing? In some places, it is deliberate. In some others, it is out of non-performance or ignorance.
Okay.
I think the federal government, there's a law that says basic, universal basic education is compulsory for every child. And I think it applies to everywhere in the country. Why is it not applicable in the North?
Indeed. Maybe that is exactly the question El-Rufai was asking himself and
Yes.
his colleagues in government. And so here we are.
It shouldn't be limited to El-Rufai. It should be. It should go around the whole of the North. I want to commend Governor El-Rufai for his. He's always raising the trail. The things he does as a governor, I admire him personally. Many things he does that other governors will not dare do. And he gets away with it, and he succeeds.
I wouldn't be surprised if other governors didn't begin to pick up this kind of a trend.
They should.
Yes.
If not, they should be compared to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tessem, sorry for interrupting you just back then, but I'm seeing that El-Rufai was pleased that the batch, he received a batch of 218 children and that had been evacuated back to their home, Kaduna State. And all of them were actually, had the virus, had COVID-19. But then he was delighted to be saying that they are all now COVID-free. I don't know what particular camp or facility that was at, but the fact that he mentioned that they had a batch of 218. Imagine the danger they would have been to whatever environment they were in if they had not, come under the succor, if you want, of the Kaduna State government.
Yes, I would. I'm not very sure about 218 Almajiri children testing positive.
Okay.
I don't think.
No, that's as reported in the Nation this morning. That's a Nation report.
Okay.
But please continue.
Yes, I don't think those figures. I don't think I would align with those figures.
Okay.
I know that for the children I went to yesterday at Government College, all of them have gone through checks and they are certified to be COVID-19 free.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday they were, being checked for eye defects, glaucoma, and a few others. Some of them, speaking with the people who were actually, the foundation that came to partner with the government. Some of them are being referred to, for surgeries, and of course I'll be keeping close tabs on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But back to my thought earlier. The governor, I looked at the situation, very critically. The governor himself is a Muslim, and some governors I know at the moment went through the Almajiri system. So it's about correcting what went wrong at some point. And the governor, as far as he's concerned, the decision may not be very popular, but he believes it's the right step to go. It's the right way to go. And having the streets of Kaduna free of these children begging, and as far as he's concerned, he wants the city to be a model. He wants the state to be, very devoid of this and, be a model. So we're looking forward to this. We're looking forward to the enforcement, as the days unfold. And I'll be monitoring the situation very closely.
Okay, then. Mr. Yakubu Nifo, good morning.
Yeah, Sivjari, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, sir. And then let me begin from when your correspondent stopped. You see, Sivjari, you may not like the style of government of El-Rufai, but some people, let me not even say you, exactly. Some people may not like the style of his governance. But
thank you for adjusting that. I have no problems with El-Rufai whatsoever.
I know. So I personally love the way the man always governed that very particular state. Let me give you a typical example here. Imagine he's only governor in this country that extend the lockdown to 1 month when everybody, especially in the northern side, beginning to, in fact, some people don't even believe in their state. Before now, El-Rufai locked down for a month, and then look at another drastic measure that the man took now. Because if he dare not do that, Sivjori, why is it easy for Boko Haram, ICC to recruit? It's because all this kind of a thing. Being an Almajiri does not necessarily mean that you cannot get education. Do you get it? So, for me, I support what this governor is doing now, and then he should keep it up. And then because El-Rufai does not even fear, maybe he want to elect him any other thing, because he's also a governor that took a lady, Dr. Adiza, as his running mate. He believed that. And then when other people are saying Muslim ticket, he was never even look at anybody's side. He believed that if I lost, I would go back to where I come from. So El-Rufai, the style of governor of El-Rufai, I supported him. He should keep it up, and then he should make sure that he enforce the law the way he did in this Salah. Because he even goes to the boundary from Kano to Kaduna, make sure that he locked that for the particular place when the Salah is going on. So El-Rufai should keep it up, and then other governors should take clue from his own style of governor, because that is the only thing that they can do to give those children education, so that if they give them education, it's going to help them in hereafter, because their children is also educated, and then if they send their children out of the country, and then these children come back, they believe they want to supersede all those ones that go to Almajiri school. They are missing it, because they will not allow them to be sleeping very well. Thank you, and God bless you very.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Yakub. Tessam, well, again, we read in the reports that, first of all, this is, everybody's commending Governor El-Rufai. This will be costing something, but its money is not of consequence here. But it will be costing something, and this is a responsibility that is owing, that is, standing up for. It just seems to be the way they are organizing themselves in Kaduna. But it is known, according to the governor, that with support from places like UNICEF Nigeria, the AMA Foundation, other NGOs, and philanthropists, they are able to work at restoring the full dignity and human rights of these children, which is, it's really a catchphrase that really tugs at the heartstrings, that restore the human rights and dignity of these children who don't even know that they are being taken advantage of. But it's like standing up for them when they can't stand up for themselves.
Yes. The good thing is, these people, the people carrying out the checks, it is not the government that is carrying out the checks, it's a foundation. But I think that the foundation has decided to partner with the government because it says some level of sincerity. But I must say here at this point that there has to be some synergy, with other governors, other governors across northern Nigeria and as elsewhere, because it's not just here in the north that we have the Almajiri system, going on. We have in the southwest as elsewhere as well. So it has to be collective. Kaduna alone, in my thoughts, will not. Of course, he would try as much as possible to sustain it here, but it will make a lot more sense if other governors would queue in, and so we can have a region, that has education. And of course, it is not stopping these children from having Islamic education. In the curriculum in these schools, there will be Islamic education going on, as much as Christian religious studies as well. So it's a collection that it's a full package, if you ask me.
Sure. Because traditionally, anyhow, if you remember when Hassan Sani was speaking, usually they were divided. They would go for Western education in the morning, and then in the evening time, instead of playing soccer and doing all of that, there was a portion of that time that you also had to go for your religious studies, aka Quranic education. Mr. Lawal in Ajao Estate, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Yori, good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in, sir. Good morning.
Yes, I would like to contribute to...
Go right ahead, please. Go right ahead.
So, yeah, please. Firstly, I'm very full in support of Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State, what he has done. So, then another thing is this. I would like all these other Northerners governors to emulate him. And at the same time, I'm using this opportunity to do what? To go against or abusing most of those other state governors. I want to tell you categorically, I don't believe all those other northern governors northern governors are Muslim. They are not. They are just an hypocrite. I must sincere with you.
I don't understand. Don't go overboard. Mr.
Sorry,
Lawal, don't go overboard,
see,
please.
This Islamic rule,
Yeah.
they all know what Islamic
Yeah,
are
but
saying.
I understand. Make
Are
your
they
point, but you
going
don't need to be abusive, and certainly not as a collective. Sorry, Mr. Lawal. Thank you very much for your contribution, but it began to go wrong when you grabbed a whole bunch of people and we're going to stereotype them. But I guess we understood the point you were making. You were highly impressed by the example in Kaduna, and you do want more northern governors to toe that particular path. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Lawal. So, Tessem, back to you again, and we still have the lines open. The point you were making is that, in fact, I like it when you brought down that even in the Southwest, they might not be called Almajiris in the Southwest, but we do have the same Quranic kind of education, is the point that you were making, and that there needed to be a way that, so that Kaduna will not be in isolation. I think that was the point you were making.
Yes, the governors will have to come together. Of course, they have the governors forum. They have them in bits. There's a Northwest Governors Forum. There's a Northern Governors Forum, as we have in other regions. But collectively, as governors, they have the governors, the Nigerian Governors Forum. They have to collectively, put an end to what the governor here in Kaduna, Nasir El-Rufai, captures to be abuse of the rights of children.
Indeed.
As far as I'm concerned, yes, these children, these Almajiri children, are as dear to him, as are his biological children.
Okay,
and
one moment, please. One moment, please. Let me bring in Alhaji Mazi Okoroafo. In Arochukwu. Good morning, Mazi.
Honestly speaking, Sayori, what El-Rufai did is a very, very good thing. It's a welcome development. Now, let me give you one reason. Let's go back to Somalia. The Al-Shabaab we have today in Somalia were Almajiris. Now, you have seen what the Al-Shabaab are doing there in Somalia, Kenya, and their name there. Now, let's come back home. You see, what the governor did is very, very good. Listen, there is no state in this country that doesn't have technical schools. And if you go to all the states, they have at least 3 or 4 or 5 schools, that's technical schools located. And they have, in those schools, they have electrical, mechanical, fabricating, name them in all these technical schools in different states. Automatically, they have such thing in Kaduna State. Now, if the governor now applies, they are going to learn education. That's to know the basics, how to read and write. Finish, that is the basic education. From there, they now enroll them to take. Even if to me, I'll tell him that school where he come them, let him convert it to just educational resource center. Just name it educational resource center. With that, not to further talking about Almajiri. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing like Almajiri because these students, they have father, and just name it educational resource center. That's very school. Now, from there now, you can now send those schools that give them the basic education from there. As they are passed, those of them that pass, they move to all these technical schools and learn different things.
Okay.
Mr. Yori, I bet you, in 5 years to come or 4 years to come, you see how talented, the type of skills those children will get. Because now, ask yourself, a child who goes out to look for arms, he will come back home and return it to Malam. Malam is making just using that young man to do what? To enrich himself.
Indeed.
If you check around, Malam is eating very well. He has a good house. He has up to 3 or 2 or 4 wives, and he's living very well. And those boys are suffering for him. Now this is time that the governor should make use of these students. Let them be independent of their own, for their own future. By the time Dr. Robinson, these boys are moving. Now, what I'm seeing, in 2 years or 3 years or a year to come, you see that these boys will be very, very educated in nature. They have skill.
Yeah.
Because somebody to roam about the street for 6 hours, 7 hours, and still come back to the next day he goes out, he's not sick.
Okay, then.
He will not rush to the hospital. He doesn't take medication. Don't you think? That means he has what we call immunity. Now look at the question. Over 900 children were tested. They don't have any COVID-19 under this condition.
Yeah.
May God bless El-Rufai and bless the scale he has taken. If they want to, consult, they should consult me through Mr. Yuri. Then I'll give them more stuff. I have to move forward. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroa, for learning to read and write. They actually do read and write in the Arabic Quranic sort of a way, but no problem. That's an added benefit. That's an added skill. You will learn to read and write in Western, education as well, is what El-Rufai is saying. Combine the two. Meanwhile, you saw eye tests going on there. Tessem was speaking about that. They really are taking care of these kids that they've just got back. And he said they will accept everyone. Governor El-Rufai said, we'll accept every one of them. And we'll actually, the processing, we've been talking about it all morning, and that thereafter, anybody try to do that kind of a thing where you send kids out on the street for whatever reason, we see them like that. Now some adults are going to be in trouble for it. Well, Tessem, thank you very much. Rounding off from you, you say you're going to stay on it because there's more of this to come. Are there still more of these children arriving from places? A batch came in from Nasarawa State. Where else are they coming in from into Kaduna?
Well, I wouldn't know. It's a government machinery, and as much as the government is taking from other states, they've also been children. Almajiri children have also been taken out of Kaduna to other states as well. So there's been an exchange.
Okay.
It's what's ongoing, and what I would like to just chip in before perhaps my time is up is the fact that, look, before now there were efforts. We recall what happened during the Goodluck Jonathan era, where he actually built schools. There've always been efforts, without a will to put to efficacy these efforts.
Going back to President Jonathan's time.
Pardon?
I said going back to President Jonathan's time, his attempts at this.
Yes, of course he built schools.
Yes.
But whatever has become of those schools, I can't say for now in categorical terms. We are seeing something we're seeing the will to put an end to this.
Okay. I think we can leave it there, Tessem. I think we can leave it there, Tessem, because we've run out of time. And I want to thank you very much, Tessem Akende, our correspondent in Kaduna, who's been with us all through the program. And indeed, our deep appreciation also goes out to Alhaji Abdul Aziz Hassan Sani, who was with us on the phone. He's Lagos-based. He's a communicator. He's a communications professional and opinion molder. And so we thank you as well, Alhaji Abdul Aziz Hassan Sani. Once more, thanks to you, Tessem, for the fine report that you did us, and also for staying on to sort of steer us through aspects of this whole story. So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow. As it happened, I didn't really deliver on my co-host. He didn't show. It must have been pressing matters of journalism that caused that. So please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.